questions about my products.
Okay.
My app is basically an AI stylist assistant, which is a situational and context based. Like whenever you're trying to curate an outfit by the help of AI, it gives you a generic idea, but dressing up or getting an outfit is much more than that, right? So you have to think about where are you going, what is the weather, or your comfort level, or who are you going with, or how much time are you going to be there. So you have to think about all of that, and it takes very much of your time. So if we can reduce that, so that is my goal. And there are more future scope features that I have added, but as this was only limited amount of time, so I was not able to add that to the MVP. But I have added all the necessary information I could, and all of these curated outfits will be from your wardrobe itself. So you don't have to go hunting for each and every piece you want. And we can have a blend of both, like some of them could be from our wardrobe, and some of them we could search online, and if we want to buy them and stuff like that. So, and we have also given anchor styling mechanism. Like, I have recently gone shopping for this new top, and I want the next time I go out, I want to wear this specific top, non-negotiable. So, this will be our anchor, and all the styling would be around this. So, we have added that few things, and we have given AI. So when you give all the context, like I'm going here for this much amount of time, and all the details, then it will generate three templates, like your accessories, shoes, whole clothes, and then you can decide, do you like this or not. And from the feedback, it learns, and it helps in user experience.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's a wonderful product, to be honest. And if that goes in the market, probably I would like to try it. So that's a wonderful idea. But my question is, have you done the market research first? Like, have you seen what are the available options for the users as of today? Compare it against your product. Have you done that?
yes, in the market, I have recently encountered what I just said. Okay, a few little sample examples of that. I see it on Instagram while scrolling and stuff like that. But what I have is the whole 360 thinking of all, and
Hmm.
they are like, they have what I'm trying to build.
Hmm.
That I'm not denying that, but what I want as a final end product. Can I share that here with you?
Yeah, sure. So I believe every participant gets 5 minutes. So I will totally be up to. I mean, I want to look at it, but maybe if you have questions first, or if you're stuck
Yes,
somewhere,
yes,
or if you
yes.
need guidance, probably we can take it from there so that we can leverage the time maximum here.
Okay. So, few questions was that I know that this is not an app people will open every day. So,
Hmm.
how to bring users to them? You know,
Yeah. Okay. In-
and
Mhm.
yeah, please.
Yeah, so right, so this is not an everyday
Yes,
product.
I
So
know.
probably you need to look at like when people will need it, right? So you can go to
Yes,
those venues, right?
yes,
Whenever there's a concert announced,
yes,
or
yes.
when there's a season of going out, when there's a vacation period and things like that, right? So you can identify the venues first, and then you have to do a parallel marketing of your app with those venues. So that could be
Okay.
one way to bring the customers to your product. And then you can't, you should not just limit it to occasional styling.
Yes.
It could be everyday styling also. Somebody who
Yes. Yes.
goes 5 days of work, a week to work,
Yes.
probably you can have a whole
Uh,
catalog for office people who goes to office and things like that. So that then it can become your everyday product also.
okay. And we have added like you can store, you can plan your outfits ahead and store them also. We have given that option as well for
Yeah.
now.
Okay, but from product development perspective, have you considered? So see, you are here. You're also going to do some image generation,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then people can store, right? So you have to also consider
Yes.
the storage. You also
Yes.
consider the
Yes.
cost, because when the AI gets
Yes.
involved, the cost, and also some guardrails around your AI, because it shouldn't happen that people just take leverage of your AI to do other
Yes.
things.
Yes.
You also have to make sure you have proper guardrails for that.
Yes. Yes. Storage and AI, currently it is now on free tier, but if we can find a good market and real audience for that, then we can start paid services as well. So it is more optimized and fast.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You have more questions? Next question?
No, that will be all. Thank
Oh,
you
okay.
so much for your guidance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm not sure if we have anybody from here from Dora team, but if we still have time, then maybe we can take a look at the product also.
Product is actually in my phone, and I
No,
don't know
no
how to
worries. That's fine. That's fine.
connect it.
Yeah.
But I have, you know, website where I have all the information of the product there. So
Hmm.
like a landing page website I have. So can I share the link in the chat for that?
Sure. Sure.
Okay, 1 second. Yeah, I've just shared.
Okay. Hi, Shreya.
Hello. Hi Komal, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good also. So like what we are building is Feed Brain. It is a personal memory layer for the internet. We consume useful information across YouTube, articles, PDFs, GitHubs, many other like social media and many more. But eventually we lose track of what we saw and where we saw it. So what Feedbrain do is that it lets users save content from across the internet, uses AI to understand and organize it, and builds a personalized searchable memory around it. Instead of remembering where you found something, you can simply ask Feedbrain what you're looking for and retrieve the relevant information and its original source. Our goal is to turn scattered internet consumption into a connected personal knowledge base, basically a second brain for the internet. So, like, um, as we were going through the research and everything, so what, like, firstly, we thought that it's a new idea, that nothing is built around it. Then we got to know that okay, not like this, but there is a similar idea like this, mini me, which we got to know in second session,
Okay.
and not in the second session, in the first session. And then we got today when we are researching about other things as well, so we got to know that there is an they have not published their app or something that, but they have the same idea like us. So like what would you suggest, how should we differentiate our idea and how should we build it across so that it would like we can gather users on our site, it would be differentiated, we can do something to make users engage our site.
Okay. Okay. Have you checked out exactly what they are doing? So you must have an idea that might be similar, but then you might have something which you are doing differently from them. Okay, that could be one thing. The other thing could be, the idea might be similar, but the way you are doing it, say, is different than what they are doing. Or you can also do what they are not doing, meaning like a complementary product to it. So you have to take a look at how much time do you have, and also like what is your long term vision on this product, like where do you see this product to be. If you still have confidence in your product and if you see this to stay in the market long term, then you can still continue working on your idea, but then it should not be the exact replica of the product which is already available there in the market, right? So identify the gaps that those product has, and if you have time, probably you can try to work on those gaps to be available on your product. So that can be your unique selling point for your own product. So that is one option. But if you have thought about any option, any other options, then we can brainstorm together also.
Okay. And the other thing is like, what would you suggest from the marketing perspective? Like, what should we do to do the better marketing for our product? That like we are just right now we are just building through, and the first thing is for us is building the app.
Mhm.
So, like, should we go through the MVPs first, or like, should we go just we should market our idea first so that people get it, and then we have a before we launch our product, we have a audience beforehand.
I think you should go with the MVP, like MVP first, because I feel like even though you market right, but then when an actual customer comes, what are you gonna show them? User testimonial works best than just a marketing speech. I would say just build a very basic minimal product which can showcase the idea that you're trying to build, and then on that idea you can build it further. So just do a V1 of it, right? Let's say you have identified some critical gap from whatever you have said before. You have identified a unique feature that can only be in your app at this point, and any other market competitor doesn't have it. So just build that feature first, do a V1 version, do a V1 release of it, and then start marketing. So you actually have something to showcase to your customer also, and not just an idea or the concept.
Okay, so like what we did was like we soft launched some post on LinkedIn, like something we are building first, not the idea of the app, but something like we are building something, and then we launched our pitch about the idea, and then we are thinking about two or three more pages or any post to explain our project and everything. So what do you suggest, like what should we do more?
So I want to understand, like, do you want to go with the idea of marketing first and then launching the product? Like, you want to have your customer base before you even launch the product? Is that what you're trying to pursue here? Because to me, what I'm hearing, it's more like you are creating a sort of community for your product where you're continuously launching like what's coming up, right? So you also have to see. So let's say you gather to you manage to gather people who are interested in your product, but then how long they are going to wait. Let's say once you are satisfied that okay, I can see the customers are waiting, but then for how long they're going to keep waiting, if that period is long enough to lose the interest of the customer, then probably you might not be able to gather the actual customer base, right? So that's where I honestly feel that yes, it's good that you're creating a community before you launch a product. That idea is good, but then in parallel, you should also have something real built which you can distribute for the community to try and test. That they could be your first customer base, right? So do a parallel implementation of V1 also to showcase that okay, this is how it's going to look like, and this is what um, you are expecting to get out of the idea that you have pitched so far.
Okay. And our core user could be a student, a developer, a content creator, or a working professional. They all have the same problem of having content daily, but they are unable to retain it, like the most of it. So should we niche down to one persona for launch or stay broad? Like, what is the risk of each?
See, if you go into too generic, may it's hit or miss, right? If it's too generic, then everybody who's using it may feel like it's probably not fitting the thing I'm looking for. So maybe you can pick one or two personas first, wherever you feel that so far you have been doing a marketing, right? So you probably, if you're doing a marketing, you might know like what is the age group, or like in which category all the customers who are interested falls under. So if you haven't decided on how to go further, maybe you can do some data analytics on top of the user who so far are interested. So you can pick that, right? Or in general also, if you see a huge customer base somewhere, let's say it's college student, then maybe just try to do it with them only. So you can pick one or two personas first and try to demonstrate how well it is working out for them.
Okay. Any other insights would you like to give?
Um, so far, I haven't seen the products. I don't know much about it, but the idea is interesting. And the one thing that I would be careful about is, which I always say from a developer mindset, is whenever you are building a product, you should always have the guardrails. Here, you're talking about storing the memory of the for the users, right? Storing the data for the users. So you should also have some, the data should be capped so that nobody is leveraging more than what you want them to leverage. Nobody is taking advantage of it. So having the proper guardrails is must here. And also, like when we are storing user data, then we should be careful about the privacy and security of the user data.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, Prasiti.
Hello, Komal. Our project is mainly focused on the Dora DAO and the Girl Who App Fellowship. So there were 24 domains, out of which we selected the education one. And in that specifically, we are trying to build, we can say, an interface or a place where all the past or the present or the future Girls Who App Fellowship members can connect to each other. Like ever since we had our meet my GWP friend campaign, or we can say the challenge on the fellowship, we realized that how important it is to be, friends and to be acquaintance with everyone from different country, different border, different stream, different dreams, and all that stuff. So while we were researching, I saw that there is no particular, we can say, tool, or we can say interface for the people to interact. It is just what we can say, the WhatsApp thing. You fill the form and then it's just that you go through or join the Discord or WhatsApp, and then you need to get in and then you need to connect and all that stuff. So we were thinking that what if we build like a place where all the past members could register themselves or just sign up or something like that, and the new ones can take guidance from them or learn from them, ki what did you do and how was your experience and stuff like that. And we will allow them to post about the social links as well, so that they can directly reach out to them instead of asking them again and again, what is your social, this is my social, come connect with me. So this was like the entire base idea, and like we are building step by step. So now we have done with logo and everything, and I'm continuously designing the interface. Once it's done, then we'll start building and all. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, like, how does it sound at the first moment? Like, what's the first impression when you hear about it?
Yeah, so I still want to understand what you are doing differently than any, I'm not sure if you've heard of Slack or any other a medium where people go and connect and share, right? So any messaging app, like let's say LinkedIn messaging app,
No,
or
no, no. Like,
you
yeah.
have group also right there. So I'm still trying to understand what is different here, in your product.
See, LinkedIn is like a proper app and a proper platform, but we are not trying to build another app like LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, as of now, as of this hackathon, it is mainly focused on the fellowship and Dora DAO members only. So I'm not thinking it as of a very broader, perspective, or as a startup or something like that. We just want to make a project. If it gets succeed, we will try to make it even more, we will try to make it public or something like that, but as of now it is just for the members of the fellowship.
Okay. So, what exactly they are going to do on this product? Like, let's say you're building an interface, right? So, what that interface, or like what are the features that you will have in that product? User can go
uh,
and sign up, right? They can connect with each other.
yeah,
So
and we are thinking to like, suppose I am a data science enthusiast and there is another person from another country who is doing the same thing, so they will have like the matching thing, or you have a pair or you have a match, so they can pair, they can talk, they can connect, something like that we are trying to build based on the
so
AI
if I'm
suggestion, something like.
okay, so you are helping to connect people of same personas, right? Okay, okay. All right. Um, yeah, so the idea is good, but one thing I want to know is like, has anybody faced this issue within the Dora? Have you talked to actual people who are facing this issue? Have you
Yeah,
identified
it was
these?
me.
Okay, okay, it heard it. Okay. All right, all
Because
right.
there are a lot of introvert students like me in the group who are very shy, but somehow we have to connect, because that is the entire motive of the Girls Who Yap fellowship. So I was thinking, like, what if we make an interface for this? What if you and I can connect easily without me texting you? What if you get a notification that, oh, there is someone in this world who
Mm.
has just exact features, or just exact skills like you, so why not you try to connect to them, or just something like that. So we were trying to mainly focus on that, not as a broader aspect, not something globally, but for the fellowship,
Okay.
for the fellowship.
So the idea is great. And how, so you said you're working on the interface, but then how are you, like, what is going to be your data set? Like, if are you just going to rely, like, on what data you're going to rely on to find this match? I'm sure you're going to use some algorithm or LLMs or AI to do the matching thing, but then what data are you going to feed it to identify these matches?
We were thinking of using some keywords that we give to our data, like the model, and based on that it identifies or picks a match. Oh, this keyword and this keyword is matching, something like that. And when you write a skill or something in LinkedIn or any other app, it suggests you, okay, for web there are web development, web design, or web designer, something like that. A lot of words come to the suggestion. So when a person is trying to write something, the suggestions may come based on that suggestion. It may the AI may use to identify the people. So we are trying to do that. And moreover, I thought of using Supabase as for the database, because that's free, and given on the timeline that we have, it will be easy to use some of the AI tools and then Supabase together to make this project happen.
Okay. So so you basically gonna rely on the LinkedIn data, like LinkedIn profiles of the users to give them the suggestion or like find the same personas.
We were thinking of posting a like Google form for retrieving the data, where the members could just write their not a lot of details we want, just the names and handles and some uh, we can say unique thing about them, the skills or anything like that. From that Google form we will get the data, so it will be easy to put that data into our database, and then work on it faster, instead of asking one on one, like what do you like, what do you like. So we were thinking like that.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think we might have very little time left. Do you have a question? Otherwise, I'll give you some suggestions.
No, like I just wanted to ask if this is okay for the Dora DAO company, or should we like take it to a startup level, because I think there are a lot of uh, we can say places that are doing the same thing. So I was not sure, and given upon the timeline that we have, like would you suggest anything that we should add or we should completely avoid doing as of now?
No, so I think the idea is to be great, but I guess when you think from a customer perspective, like you need to make it as easy as possible, right? So when you say you're gonna ask user to fill out a Google form, then somebody like me would say, why? Like I have a LinkedIn profile, or I might have some other. I mean, so far LinkedIn, let's say consider LinkedIn, right? So I would say you can just ask me, give your LinkedIn profile if it's a public enough, or you can, do some authentication and connect with the LinkedIn profile. You can do the data scraping also. So for an MVP, this is fine. Like you can manually input the data to show that, given the data is stored, or given the data, we can actually achieve this concept. We can actually do this matching and do the suggestion. So that is fine for MVP. But if you really visualize this as a product and putting into the market, then you also have to think about how many manual steps I can reduce from a customer perspective, so that it would be more attractive for the users also. Like if I have to fill out a long form giving my intro or bio, and let's say for a startup, if you even don't want to do the connector to LinkedIn, you can just say drop your resume, or like drop your bio, like upload a PDF. Over there also you can leverage the AI to do the data scraping, and then you can populate again saying that, okay, this is what our connector has found. Do you want to make any changes? Do you want to fine tune the data that we have? If they say no, then the data just goes into your DB. So try to reduce the manual step in this entire process. MVP, this is fine, because I don't know how much timeline do you have there. So for MVP, it's fine, but then when you go to, just try to keep that point in mind, that just reduce the customer friction is what I would say.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Komal.
Hi.
So nice to see you. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Is it possible for me to share my screen and show you what I've been working on?
Yeah, sure. Totally fine.
All right. Share screen. Share screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Can you? All right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, cool. So yeah, here's the main idea. So what I'm trying to build here is basic it's not exactly an app. It's more of a project, you could say, where we take idioms from Indian vernacular languages, and we try and see if the most prominent AI models in the world today can find the best English equivalent for that, right? And the reason I thought of taking this problem statement up was because I was trying to find. I was trying. My mother was actually trying to talk to ChatGPT, and she used this idiom, this cultural saying, and it just completely missed the point. So yeah, that really got me thinking about how vectors and tokens work when it comes to Indian languages, and uh, whether we could make a crowdsourced project to help train this better. Yeah. So any questions so far?
No, this sounds good. You can continue.
All right. So yeah, um, here I have an idiom in Kannada actually. It goes like this: "Kai kesaradare by Musuru." So I'll just tell you what it means in a bit. Before that, let me just show you the five models or the five interpreters um, that I'm using here. So we've got Mistral. I've just given them really Indic sounding names here. I'm calling this Nandi, I'm calling this Garuda, this is GPT OSS, this is Llama, this is Gemma, and this is Sarvam. I've been having some trouble with Sarvam. I'm going to fix this by today. So, yeah, the literal meaning of this idiom is if the hand, ends up getting muddied, the mouth gets curd. So the best equivalent of this is no pain, no gain, right? The idea being that, like, back in the day when you had people working on farmlands and stuff, you'd obviously have to get your hands muddied, right? So as to get a good crop, a good harvest. So yeah, basically it talks about how you have to work diligently in order to get a good reward. The funny thing that I've noticed is the minute um, here you can feed clues one by one. You can feed the literal meaning first, and you can spend another nugget. I've devised a golden nugget based system. So basically, if you spend a nugget, you can reveal one clue each. You can start off by revealing the literal meaning, which is what I just told you. Then you can reveal the emotional tone. Then you can reveal the qualities that it speaks of. And then you can talk about the usage context. When you would use this, would you use this to motivate someone? Would you use this to, I don't know, caution someone? Stuff like that. And finally, the last golden clue is the English meaning, the best um, transit transliteration of the full import of the idiom, right? So yeah, the first thing that the very interesting pattern that I noticed here is on the first try, uh, a lot of these models actually get it completely wrong, right? Though this talks about the principle of working diligently and gaining a reward as an effect, um, GPTOS says it goes completely off track. It's the minute it sees the word mud, it goes into a completely different tangent. If you get your hands dirty, if you engage in shady or unethical deeds, your mouth will become sour. That is another interpretation that it ends up making here for the curd part, right? Although the emotional import here is that you will be able to feast on something that is sweet, but that is the conclusion that it ends up leaping to. So yeah, again, Llama also goes completely off track. If one gets involved in messy or troublesome situations, they will inevitably face the consequences. So yeah, the reading that it ends up making here is mud. Okay, this has to be involved with something. This has to do with something shady or something dirty, something corrupt, and curd again. The implication being it's something sour, right? So it goes off on a completely different tangent. So this is actually acceptable. So I'm gonna accept this. Oh yeah, and if there is a score for the meaning as well. So
Mm.
if it's a hit, it gets a higher score. If it's a miss, it gets a lower score. So yeah, I'm just going to reveal the emotional tone as a hint, which is that it's stoic. Actually, I'll also reveal the qualities that the original idiom talks about, which is hard work and perseverance. And we just see what happens. I've been having a lot of trouble with the server API keys. Yeah, so this is what I have so far. If you don't have an idiom in mind, you can pick one from one of the examples here. We've also got some in Hindi. Right now, I'm restricting it to Hindi and Kannada because, frankly, that's all I understand. These are the languages that I feel most comfortable in.
Mhm.
So, yeah. By the time this loads, do you have any comments or feedback or any questions?
Yeah. So, how are you envisioning this product? Like, um, because see, one thing you accepted that none of the models comes with the right information or like the right tone, emotion, like the actual meaning of those idioms. It's not coming back with it, right? So, um, how are you like planning or like when a customer is using, how do they know that this is the actual meaning? Like somebody like me who doesn't know the language, if I use this and it gives me five different um, meaning, how am I supposed to interpret it?
Okay, I will answer your question in three parts. One, I actually thought of building this not as a product, as a commercialized product as such, but more of a crowdsourced information gathering project. Right, that's the first thing. Secondly, my intent here is to actually go into developer relations. I hope to be a devil someday, so I actually am looking at this more from a project like perspective.
Okay.
So yeah, the other thing is yeah.
So what's the feedback mechanism here? So I can see like you provided the input, you fine tune the input. So it's just you, right? There might be so many idioms right out there. So how will you fine tune this, or who will actually go and correct or provide the correct input that okay, this is how it should be, this is the meaning of it, because none of the models are also giving you the exact response that you are expecting as here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is actually where I needed your help. So, as someone who's as a solo developer, I'm not entirely sure how I need to scale this, how I can bring this to more people so that there can be a greater element of interactivity and yeah, people can add on their own examples, they can add on their own knowledge base, and maybe have someone else vote on the on the bits of knowledge that they've added, like a lot like Wikipedia, where anyone can edit, but ultimately it gets the most. Okay, Wikipedia is a bad example. Yeah, maybe something like Quora or even Reddit for that matter, where the best, most accurate answers get voted to the top. So yeah, that's the thing. So that is kind of where I needed a bit of help refining and fine tuning what I'm building here. So I've come this far. I'm not entirely sure what to do next.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
also, yeah,
it's
now that this has, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
good, please.
Yeah, now that this, we have, I just wanted to show you this. Now that we have actually revealed three clues, you can see that the models are much better on track. For instance, GPT OSS says hard work pays off. If you work hard, if you get your hands dirty, there will be a reward. I don't know, it's been cut off here for some reason. Llama is again almost spot on. It can be interpreted as meaning if someone puts in hard work and they will be rewarded with good fortune. Yeah, the curd symbolizing a desirable outcome. So, yeah, just a few hints, just a few prompts, or rather a little bit of prodding in the right direction, and you have a much better output from these models, right?
Hmm.
So, I was just wondering what direction to take this in next. Should I like pose this? I mean, should I like pitch this to AI training um, organizations? Like, what should I do?
Yeah, to me, it sounds more like a training issue, because probably those models are not trained to handle this sort of information, right? So I feel like probably going into that direction will help because, see, like if I don't know the language, so if I directly try to provide some input, it would be of no help. I'll just simply reading this and then I'll say, okay, probably it is somewhere around this. Right now, providing a user input also doesn't sound scalable because nobody would just go simply to correct the data that the models are giving, right? So it's probably goes
Mhm.
into more question of training the model, providing the context, additional context to the model so that it can fine tune and all. So I believe you should take that direction on like how do we train the model on the language and the data.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you, by any chance, also, I just wanted to get your opinion on something. I've kind of want to land. I've actually been hoping of landing the devil interview at Sarvam. So, what can I do? How can I make this better to maximize my chances of, I don't know, landing an interview or at least getting noticed by someone on that team? What direction should I be taking this in?
So that truly depends on like what they are looking for, to be honest, right? So what is their requirement, like exactly which expertise they need from the candidate. So that only can be revealed by looking at the job posting that they have. But you can here also showcase first is your research on the models. You whatever. So let's say you don't have a user input right now, but you know what are the idioms. So one thing you could do probably is take this as a research project and showcase them. These models with these languages. This is the accuracy. So that is one thing that you can also showcase that we have. This is the problem statement, and this is how the model behaves. The other thing could be you can also try to feed the additional context and then again rerun your project and see what is the outcome that you are getting. Like does all the models that you're using, does it make any difference after adding some additional context about the idioms or additional context about the language itself, and then see the output, right? So you can also see how the models behave and all. And then you can also say that okay, if we train the model, probably we can land at what we are trying to achieve,
Right.
if
Right.
that makes sense.
Okay, suppose I were to crowdsource this, let's just say that. How can I incentivize people to come on the app? Um, do you have any ideas for gamifying this, or I don't know? I already have a bit of a primitive leaderboard here for the models themselves, not for the users, but for the models themselves, with an ELO score here. So, any ideas on that, on how I could possibly attract? users to come here and interact and
So for that,
maybe, I don't know, give them an incentive to participate.
yeah. So for that, you have to like first understand when they will feel the need to use this, right? If they are studying this language, then probably they need this. In schools, if they are, if the teachers are, if the teacher has taken this Kannada as a subject, or like, they are just learning in their mother, then probably that's when they will probably need to use this. So you first have to identify who will need this to be used, and then you can see how you can integrate your product at their venues.
Got it. Got it. Is there any chance? I mean, you have people working on data annotation and all that, right? Training AI models. So, is there any way I can weave this into that process?
Can you like explain more, like what, so if we do that, how it is going to help, like what are you thinking in that direction?
Um, I was thinking maybe we could crowdsource the process of data annotation itself when it comes to things like right now, I only have idioms in mind, but I was thinking maybe going forward, maybe we could. I could include other things like maybe slang or certain uh, cultural references, maybe a bit of context switching. People frequently do this thing where they, especially a lot of modern day Indians, do this thing where they switch between English and some other Indian language, right? I mean, they call it Hinglish or
So
whatever.
I'm getting a message from
So,
Dora team. So I think
yeah,
the time is up. But see if I get some opportunity to connect back with you, I'll we can connect. Okay.
sure. Thank you so
Sorry.
much.
So much for your time.
Hey, Lisa. Hi.
So I was a bit confused about the timeline. So we have to launch the MVP tomorrow, right?
Hey, I think that probably you should coordinate with Dora team.
Okay, and we have to also list the product on Product Hunt. So how do we list it if it's not ready yet?
I think those are the questions that only Dora team can handle. To be honest, I'm here just to help with
Okay,
the any blockers in your product, or if you need any advice in your product and the idea.
okay. So can you suggest some marketing strategies?
But can you explain what is your product? I have no idea on what is a product,
Okay, so
where you are with the
uh,
product.
yeah, our product is gonna be like an app which is AI for traveling for people who travel but with like a budget and they need to log the expenses and keep track of the expenses, and it will generate an itinerary based on their budget, and it will track the expenses in real time. You can log everything, and it can also reroute it if you overspend sometimes, and it has a secondary feature which is for you can upload your clothes and it will generate an outfit for the place you're visiting according to the weather and the culture there. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. So it sounds like you have two bigger domain in one single app, because probably in one side you
Yeah.
said it is a traveling app. So I think you're trying to cover everything with respect to traveling, right? Like you mentioned expenses, then you also mentioned clothing, right?
Yes. The
Okay.
clothing one is a secondary feature. Our main thing is the traveling itinerary planning and budget tracking. Mm.
Budget tracking. So how is it different from any other product in the market? Like
Because we added the clothing feature to make it different from the ones that are already present.
okay. Okay, and you asked about marketing your product. Is it like ready? Is it available, or like the MVP is built already for the customer to use?
Will be by tonight. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So I think for marketing, probably, I mean, it. this is I always keep saying, right? So if you want to market, you have to market among the people who are, traveling frequently. So maybe you have to probably like on social media, you can go and upload how your app is working. You can create a short demo or a video, an interactive video or like an interesting video on how this app is going to help. So that could be your one marketing strategy where people
Okay.
are, or the travel blogs or things like that, right? So you can go and market there also. And For traveling, like look out for all the traveling menus also, right? So social media is one where people keep sharing with
Okay.
each other, but then if the product is robust and solid enough, it could work as an integration with any other travel agencies also, right? So Make My Trip or any other platform
Yeah.
who needs people for traveling, right? It can be a plugin also, an additional plugin. So if the product is robust enough, you could also in future you could also reach out to such big agencies and say that, hey, this could be a complementary product to the people who are traveling. This can help the people. So once they have finalized their traveling, they probably will need your app when they actually take that trip, right? So you can also look at those kind of agencies also if you want more customer base.
Okay. And like, can you suggest some AI tool which can help me make my UI better? Because I built it, but it's not that good yet.
um so normally we so you want an AI tool which can directly build your UI, or normally the way we use it in corporates is like we provide the specifications to the model, and then it builds
Yeah.
it builds the interface. So it's basically mostly what we can do is like prompt engineering. You can set your prompts, and you can probably you can just give a very detailed and specific requirement to your LLM, and it should be able to build. But when you're working with LLM, you have to make sure that there's an isolation, because if you provide everything that you want to build in one single prompt, then it will be confused and it will start hallucinating. So if you have already a requirement drafted, just make sure you break them down into smaller feature requirement kind of a thing, and then start working with LLM so that it will generate the way you are visualizing your UI. Because I, to be honest, I don't know how you are developing your website. Like, are you already leveraging AI LLMs or any agents to build your interface? So I have no insight into how you are building
So
it.
I'm using tools like Bolt and Lovable.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Thank you so much for.
Yeah, thanks, Aliza.
Hey
Hello,
Shreya.
sorry, I didn't realize that I was put in already. So I am building an app that is there for cat parents basically. There are many other apps that are there similar to what I am building, where you can log when you've fed your cat and then about their daily habits, like how many times they've used the litter bin and stuff like that, so that the AI or whatever can tell whether this is they have been like eating at their normal limit or if they're eating too less and stuff like that. But it gives according to the general statistics, like suppose you take my cat in general, he eats very less, but that doesn't affect his activity. So it is quite normal to him. But if I were to like Google how much he's eating and ask if it's normal, it would say it's very abnormal. He's probably sick and I should get it checked out. So my website is basically, I've built it in such a way that for 7 days you have to input every day whatever your cat is eating, how much he's eating and everything like that. So it learns your own cat's baseline and then adapts itself to that. And like daily, it tells if that's normal or if there's any change from the baseline that is noticeable enough that you have to consult a veterinarian. My cat initially he felt very sick, and since we didn't notice the small changes because uh, we it wasn't really that significant. We felt very distraught when it was like almost fatal for him. So I built this so that no one else has to go through that. I don't have any questions related to my product as such. I have more questions related to when I launch it on Product Hunt. If I don't gain any traction even after whatever I've done, like within the first few hours, what do you suggest I should take steps to like try to correct it or do damage control?
Hmm. So your question is more on like what if you don't get any customer base once you launch the product, right?
One second, I can't seem to hear you. Can I rejoin, please?
Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, Priya.
Was what I said before audible?
Yeah, so I think if I'm not wrong, your question was once I launch the product, what do I do if I don't get the customer base, right?
Yes, like as a damage control to make it like at least a little bit better.
Oh, okay. See, if you don't get the customer, it doesn't always mean that the product is bad. Probably you need to try some different strategies, right? So, um, you can also start doing in your local community, let's say. So just like you are a pet owner, you might have somebody in your network who also is the pet owner. So you can actually go into a local community and say, hey, would you like to try this out? So if just releasing a product probably is not enough, like you also have to do the marketing. So marketing could be like you can literally do anything for your marketing, as long as it is legal. So
Okay.
yeah, once you release the product, if you know any local community where people own the cats, maybe you can go and try to pitch them there that just try it out. This is the app which is working out for me, and I was able to actually spot this anomaly with my cat's behavior using this app. So you can also try to pitch it in that way, and do it in your local community. You can also go online and collect. So once you do that in local community, let's say you get some good response, you can also collect them as your user testimony to also go online and say that, okay, it has already helped so far these many customers. So once you launch the product, probably try to get some testimony, try to get it tested with some people around you. If not, just go online and ask people to test it. Go to community. I see. Normally, I guess I'm not a pet owner, so I don't know, but I've heard that there is this whole community for pet lovers. So you can
Yeah,
also
yeah.
go and try and pitch there also that, hey, it's been these many months. This is how I see, and this is what I've used this app, and I see it is working out well for me. Probably there might be other people who are interested in trying out. So you can build it gradually. You can take it
Okay.
slow. So just try that once. Like if that doesn't work, then you might also have some data on why it is not working out for other people. So if
Okay,
you
just like collect feedback, if
yeah,
I'm
so
not wrong.
see, once you build the product, you always have to do a testing, like customer reviews, customer experiences, and only that can give you an insight on why actually this product is not working, or like it is working, but then probably now you need to take it to the next level so that you can also incorporate further more user base to your product.
Okay. Okay, sure. Thank you. That's what I have.
Hi, Mohammed.
Hello.
Hi, I can hear you.
That's good. Just give me a second.
Sure.
All right, I'm all good. So, hi, Komal. I'm Maman from Team Next. So basically, our product is what we are trying to do whenever, as a freelancer, as a developer, or as a student itself, we use any LLMs and we encounter a problem. For example, if I'm an SEO person and I get a new client site which has a different theme which I'm not aware of or I haven't used very much. So to figure it out, I go to ChatGPT, I go to Gemini, I ask them questions, I get them screenshots. But it's a very time taking and intensive process. Like I have to go back and forth and it breaks the flows a lot. So basically, to resolve this problem, what we are doing is we are developing an MVP called Next-Gen Copilot. What it does, it allows you to share your screen with the LLM. So basically, if I'm working on a WordPress site, I'm logged in. I can share that browser tab with Gemini or ChatGPT, whichever LLM I'm currently using, and it will be able to see my screen, but I'm seeing, and I can ask it, for example, if I'm looking for a particular setting, I can ask him, can you please guide me, where can I find the setting on my screen? And it will have its own cursor, which we called as a ghost cursor. It can point its cursor to that, and I can go and see that tab. That is basically the overall idea. And there will be other features like you can upload files, you can talk with all the LLMs through voice as well.
Okay. So it's is it more like LLM to LLM communication?
No. It's user to LLM communication. What we are basically doing is we are allowing the feature of screen sharing.
Okay.
Currently, any LLM does not have the feature of screen sharing. Now, they cannot see your screen. You can upload screenshots, you can upload files, all of that, but you cannot share your screen. So, the main idea is if we can share our screen with the LLM, it will have all the context to our problem which we currently have.
But so have you done the market research? Because this, to me, this sounds like pretty much or like somewhat similar to Gemini, right? So Gemini also has the plugin, and it's an offline app, not offline, but it's an app where you download it on your machine, local machine, and then it has a feature to share your screen. So you can share your screen and ask Gemini. You can literally share your entire screen. So you can ask Gemini, help me with this, like why, like help me respond with this email, and it can read the entire email already by sharing your screen. So Gemini has this feature. I'm not sure if you are aware of that. And if you're not, then I would highly recommend first to check that out feature. And
Can you please elaborate on that a bit?
so
Okay, this Gemini desktop app.
Yeah, so you can download the app. It's kind of a plugin for
Okay,
your local for your laptop. So
okay.
and in that they have a feature of sharing the screen. So I can share my entire desktop, or like I can share a single window. It mostly works on sharing the single window. Like if I want to share the Chrome, if I want to share my code, if I want to share my document, it can actually read all that by sharing the screen. So that feature is available in Gemini. And if you are building something similar, then you probably might have to think about what more you can do with your app.
Firstly, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Secondly, okay, I'll have to see that as well. Like in my market research, what came up is okay, there was no inherent screen sharing feature. Like for example, Claude and ChatGPT, they have if we install them in our terminal, then we can share our product project models there, but not an inherent screen sharing. I will look into that.
Yeah, so Gemini has
Okay.
that. I would highly say that check that out first before you pitch it to somebody else. And let's say even if it's similar to Gemini, then my recommendation would be see what Gemini is lacking. So that could be your selling point for your product.
Like yeah, we could go about, for example, if the user experience of screen sharing with Gemini is not that seamless, we can have that as one of our strengths as well.
Yeah,
Like
so the one
okay,
one thing I could see with Gemini is you can share just one window at a time. So either I can share my inbox for emails, or I can just share. So basically, just one window I can share it at once. That's what I know. I could be wrong, but you should go and do some research. So if that's the feature which Gemini is lacking, then you just an idea, okay, you can do multi-sharing, like multiple screens shared at the same time, and let Gemini figure out, the coordination between those two screens when user is interacting. Sorry, not Gemini, your product. So when user is interacting with your product, it can read from multiple screens, and then it can provide the output to the user or whatever user is trying to do. So just see what Gemini is lacking, and how different your product is today from the Gemini screen sharing. And if it's similar, then try to pivot it from there.
All right, I will look into that. And question about the marketing aspect of it, like when we get into the soft launch phase and we'll have to gather our first 50 users,
Mhm.
like I don't, or our team doesn't have that much of a proper following on any of the socials. So what do you recommend that we can do on social media to get some early users fast for the same idea?
Mhm. So for that, I'd say people who need to work with different tools at the same time would be the easiest customer to get some hands on your product.
I understand the vertical very well, but I'm asking you is okay, like what should be the medium? Would it be just content, or should I try like cold emails and stuff, or cold messaging for that, or is there a better way to do that?
I think instead of cold, I would, because this is a very generic, I would say, problem for anybody who is working with multiple screens. I guess you are not restricting it to any domain, right? It's basically just screen sharing. So anybody who is working with computers, trying to fulfill their task, it could be useful to all of those, correct?
Yes,
Yeah. So I
like
think, go ahead.
no, no, please speak.
Yeah, so I think cold emailing, I mean, if you have time, you can do it. But rather than, I would just go like full into it, like just marketing on social media, marketing on any other community platform. Okay, so there are developer communities who do the active development. There might be other industry, fashion industry or any other industry or research industry where they deal with multiple screens at the same time. So maybe you can go to those communities and try to post what you have built there. You can also go to social media platforms. LinkedIn is also actually a wonderful platform where you can create a short video on how this is helping you and the others around you. LinkedIn also is a great place where you can market this product also via your network, or the network of your network. This can also be done. So any social media platform where there are people who work in developer communities, you can go and market there. So cold emailing is fine, but I guess the more people will see how useful it is, you will get more customers there to try the product on.
All right, thank you. Just one last question. When I initially came up with the idea, I had this vision that if we can basically execute the screen sharing thing and like sorry, one more question or an alternative question. Okay, you said that Gemini we can share our screen there, right? But
Mhm.
does Gemini has its own cursor? For example, like if I share my screen with Gemini, I'm on Gmail and I ask Gemini, "Okay, Gemini, how can I write a new email here?" Will it just see my screen and will give me instructions and text? Is that what it will do in your experience?
Yeah, yeah. So it is, yeah, it's not
Oh,
going to
okay.
actually write the email for you. I mean, see, if you connect Gemini, it can write an email for you. So Gemini, uh,
You know,
you know,
one more differentiating factor in our MVP was that, for example, in our case, we will share that screen with the LLM. Now, if the user asks, "Hey, how can I write an email?" They are on their Gmail. So, what will our LLM do? Like, it will have its own cursor. It will first take its own cursor to like the compose button. It will take that cursor there and on screen or maybe through voice, it will tell the user, please go and click that button. Then the
okay.
user will go and click the compose button. Then they will that the other dialog box will open up. Then they will take their cursor to the subject. Then they will tell him, okay, write a subject line, the body, and then at last it will take its cursor and come to the send button. Now you can send the email.
Okay. Yeah. So that is your unique selling point, right? So share screen is with Gemini.
Yes.
And then if you, so the way you are describing is more like workflows where, user has something in mind. With any other LLM like GPT or somewhere else, you can also build an agent which can do this kind of work. But
No,
here you are directly
it's
doing.
very
Yeah,
different.
yeah. So
It's
that's what
very
I'm
different
saying.
from an engineer.
Your, so this that is your unique selling point. And like for marketing, right? When you go for marketing, just pick and choose few different areas, right? So few different communities. Meaning, from a developer perspective, I could say that this is useful. So from if a developer has to use your product, how you can bring them in, like what help they can do to the developer to use this product, versus somebody working in sales and marketing, how it is going to help them, right? So when you are pitching for marketing, pick different domains also. Like whenever you are creating a demo of your product, pick different domains so that it looks relatable to anybody who is working with multiple screen.
Got it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. These were up for all my questions. Do you have anything else you can suggest me?
No, I think our times is probably up. But this is a great idea, and I would love to
All
see
right.
this as a product. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, Aja, is that how I pronounce your name?
Yeah, it's Asia.
Asia. Okay.
Thank you. It's so great to be on speaking to you. We are Oranges and Lemons, and we're running a language risk audit report. I think Maria has been on for a little while.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have a camera on my PC, on my computer. I apologize for that.
No worries, no worries. That's fine, Asia.
Right now, I'm running into an issue with, we're trying to, so I have it hosted with Vercel, and I'm using Flask to call a Gemini API key to assist um, in producing an output that analyzes a user's input and like shows how it will translate across different English dialects.
Okay.
And I'm running into some issues because I'm trying to use Vercel and Flask, but then when I'm hosting it, the Vercel site is failing to access the Gemini API,
Okay.
and I've tried some workarounds, but overall, I'm wondering if I need to like host it with render as well, host the backend using render, um, and then just go with Flask and Vercel for the front end and connecting those two.
Okay. So what troubleshooting have you tried? Like what exactly the issue that you're facing?
Exactly, the issue I'm facing is I'm running my site using Vercel and Vercel Dev, but then when I access the site, it's just I mean, I was running into a few issues, but it keeps saying that the AI evaluation service is not configured. Set the Gemini API key in the hosting environment, and I have it set. Um, I have an env file that it is set in, and I've just been trying to, because we have a really nice front end now.
Mhm.
I'm trying to get the JSON and the services between the backend and Vercel to work together.
Okay. Yeah, this sounds like troubleshooting. So, has it? So I'm assuming it has never worked the connection has never worked before?
It was working, but then I'm trying to like host it so that we can get it shipped out and it works for more users. And I shifted from using like npm run dev with like React to then Vercel dev, and I think that's when it started to change because I was editing the um, like the Vercel JSON and the Vite config files.
Okay. Right. Um, so it was working in local, and when you move to Vercel, it isn't working, right? Local testing was fine.
Yeah.
Hmm. And have you checked all the permissions from Vercel to your Gemini? You said you're using Gemini, right?
hmm Yeah, we're using Gemini. I have a Gemini Flash Lite model because we shifted from using a Google AI Studio to hosting it as a regular website.
Oh, okay. Um, and it says, what was the error? It said, can you come again? What was the error there?
Um, yeah, it says the AI evaluation service is not configured and to set the Gemini API key in the hosting environment.
Okay. So, do you know? So, I haven't worked with Vercel before, but do you know if Vercel has a different tiers or things like that, where, like, a free hosting versus a paid hosting or something?
Um, I think it has different tiers, but I don't think that I need the greater tier because it's overall a small load getting hosted.
So, did you try to check with whatever tier you are using with Vercel? Does it has this feature enabled where you can directly interact with LLMs or like models like Gemini? Have you checked that? Is it included as part of the free version with Vercel?
Oh, I have not checked that directly, but as I was trying to troubleshoot using Claude AI, it did suggest that I switch to like hosting the backend um, with Render and one of Render's either the free or the paid tier. So I think I'm gonna start using that, but is that what you would suggest as well?
Yeah, so I mean, see, if the real issue is with Vercel, for the tiering and the pricing, and whatever features that they're providing is not included as part of this, then maybe you should think about switching. But also consider like what is the timeline that you have in hand when you do the switch.
hmm Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's all on the programming side that I
Oh,
have. But thank you.
yeah, no worries, Asia.
I actually have a few questions. One question that I have is what would make you trust or not trust like a tool like ours?
Okay, so first thing is I want some information on like what exactly your
Okay.
tool is, because when we started, I just heard that a language support model or something, but I don't have
Mhm.
enough information.
Okay, so basically we built like an early prototype called Wit, which is called Really Travel. It's like where a user pastes like a message, and basically the tool explores how that might be understood across like American English, Indian English, Singaporean English, and just standard English. It highlights like the possible misunderstandings and explains them and suggests like clearer wording and without like treating one variant of English as more correct. And yeah, that's basically what our tool does.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is like two parts, right? One is, or maybe as a user, when I paste something, it's gonna give me it in a different languages, right? So it's like I
Um,
Mhm.
it's
Right?
not in different language. It's a different variation of English.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So if I am the user, like how, so for your product, the user is left to interpret whatever version of English they want to use, or you are also expecting from the user to correct if there's an issue or like mistake that they spot in the different versions of English.
So, okay. So, could you repeat that question? I'm not sure if I
So
understood
I'm
you.
trying to understand who would be your user base first, and who would be, you know, the admin part of it, or like who would be, how do I say this? If I am the user, are you expecting any input from the user, or you're expecting the user to directly consume it?
So we're expecting the user to put in some sort of text, like, okay, so our target user, first of all, is international colleagues. So maybe it's like international managers, or like you have a colleague who's on like the other side of the world. That's who our target is, our user target. And do we actually expect something, the user to put in like a maximum like 150, I think, characters as like their input text? And when they put that, the AI will basically analyze it like, hey, this specific word means something else in, say, Indian English or Singaporean English. And it will suggest that, hey, instead of writing this, you can write this. It's more clear. That's what it does.
Okay, so the not the problem, but the thing that you need help with is how do the user should trust the output that LLM is giving, or like your product is providing, right? Like if I say I want to say this in this version of the English, and when it gives me the answer back, how do I trust that, right?
Yeah.
So I think that probably, user feedback, I don't think so, because these, I'm assuming these are the users who actually doesn't know, and that's why they're coming to your platform to actually understand the other version of it. So in this case, I think you as a product builder would probably will have to do some statistical analysis, like training it, giving it,
Okay.
training the data, basically, I would say.
Mhm.
And while you're training, you will have to see the statistics on like how, what is the accuracy of the model, and if it's still not working out for you, you have to again train it. And once you have that solid training data out there, you can pitch it based on like, this is thoroughly tested product, and this is the outcome of it. I think that's the only way you can gain the trust of the customer first, and then also maybe testimony of the customers, right? So if you have a smaller user base who is actively using, you pitch it to a small community or like small company where they probably will need this product, and see what is their feedback. So user feedback is one thing, but that is when actually your product goes into the production and you have actual users. But then before that, you have to do a thorough testing, a statistical analysis of the models, and see if you need to train your product again with more data set.
Okay. And how do you recommend that? Because we're a small team so how should a small team like us test whether the AI is producing a consistent and like a useful like result? This kind of ties back to like the previous question.
Um, I feel even though you're a small team, but there's a plenty of data out there, right? So probably you'll have to break it down into smaller problems on, in which direction do we want to, train this product. So I would just there's a data out there, so just bring the data in and split it into smaller use cases, or maybe a specified cases where people would need this product. So maybe not everything, but pick few end-to-end user journeys and see what data you will need for those kind of limited use cases, and test against your product how it is working out. And then maybe you can start adding more layers or adding more data, more use cases to your product. So just don't focus on you want to cater to everybody, rather than just pick a smaller circle where this product can be useful, and just do a focused testing with that data.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm not sure if we're running out of time or anything, but do let me know if I'm like overextending.
Yeah, sure.
Is there anything in like our current user journey or like a technical concept would you think needs to be simplified or more detailed?
Um, so I would say, when customers are using, this is the one advice I always give, is reducing the customer friction, because that's what we see across working in corporate world. So when your user is using your product, always make sure that they have less manual work to do and more automated stuff included in your product, because if they have to grab the details from five different places, then probably they'll get bored and they'll feel like, oh, I don't want to use it, right? So reducing the customer friction should always be there when you're building the product.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Thank you. And then one last question I had is that if we had time to improve like one thing after like our soft launch, what would you choose?
um, See, that's hard, because without see, you can build n number of things, but without actually understanding how well it is working out for your customers, you won't be able to do anything further, right? I can do any fancy feature in my product, but if nobody's using it, then probably it's of no use. So the next version always comes from the first set of users who has used it, because customers are the at the end are going to use it. So if it's not solving their problems, their challenges, then probably it doesn't make sense to add any new fancy features. So if I were to do it, I would first see how well it is working out, and then when you see the feedback, it's sometimes it's more towards correcting your existing features, and sometimes user will say, oh, I use this, but I wish we also had this in the product, so I don't have to deal with two different products now. So always check how it is working out for your customer, and then pivot it from there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Those were some like really good answers, and they definitely gave us like some ideas. I think that's it for my team. Thank you.
And I was able to help. Thanks, Chanchal.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
I just want to ask that how can I publish my product, like deploy the product on the Dayfolio app or the product hunt? Can you please guide me
Hey,
where to submit?
sorry, can you? I'm a little confused. Is it for the Dora team or for me? And I, to be honest, don't know your product. So do you need help with finding the platform to host it, or you need to understand some logistic around this hackathon?
Like, see, I have made the project, like everything is done. I just want to know that where I have to publish that, submit this project. Like, I have the Dayfolio dashboard there as asking me to upload. And the one thing you are telling this product hunt where we have to upload our project. So which works? I'm a little bit confused about publishing the project.
So I think for that you will have to reach out to Dora team. Maybe in this chat also you can tag at the Dora and ask them like, what is the guideline given for the hackathon to publish your project and your work. Yeah, I think Dora team is there. They said that's on them, so they will help you or they'll do it. Yeah, all right. Can I drop off, or do we have anything else? Okay, thank you so much.